A Super El Niño is forming in the Pacific, and 2026 is shaping up to be one of its most extreme chapters. But it is not the monster the headlines keep promising. Right now, far beneath the surface, a vast pool of warm water is sliding out of place, quietly tilting the heat balance of an entire planet. Satellites have been tracking it for months, watching sea temperatures climb past the marks that separate weak from strong and strong from something far rarer. NOAA has already made it official. Their forecasters now give this event real odds of becoming one of the most powerful ever measured. Not a storm, not a single day of chaos. A slow, physical tilt in the ocean itself, one large enough to reach almost every corner of Earth. El Niño is not a storm, and it is not a single event you could point to on a map. It is one phase of a giant, slow seesaw between the ocean and the sky over the tropical Pacific, a rhythm scientists call ENSO, the El Niño Southern Oscillation. Picture a bathtub. Steady trade winds normally blow along the equator, pushing warm surface water westward until it piles up near Indonesia. Cooler water rises behind it near South America. That is the ocean in its usual balanced state. But when those winds lose their grip, everything shifts. The trade winds weaken, sometimes even reverse. Therefore, that huge mound of warm water in the west comes sloshing back east, spreading a warm blanket across the central and eastern Pacific. The bathtub tips the other way. This sounds like a local event, a patch of warm water far out at sea. But the Pacific covers a third of the planet. Shift that much heat, and you shift where air rises and where it sinks. That bends the great rivers of wind called jet streams. And moving the jet streams moves the storms they carry. One ocean's mood, felt on nearly every continent. So, what has forecasters sitting up straighter than usual? A few things, stacking on top of each other. It began with sudden bursts of westerly wind, brief but powerful, shoving warm water east. Beneath the surface, that heat travels in slow pulses, rolling east for months before surfacing off the coast of the Americas. None of this is guesswork. A line of anchored buoys sits across the equatorial Pacific, reading ocean temperature hour after hour. Floating robots drift through the water column. Satellites overhead measure the sea's exact height and warmth. Together, they feed a constant stream of numbers to forecasters. And one thing makes 2026 different from past events. The ocean was already hot before any of this began. Sea temperatures worldwide have been sitting at record highs, so this event is not warming a calm sea. It is stacking new heat on top of an already elevated baseline. NOAA has made it official. El Niño begins once the ocean runs about half a degree Celsius above normal for months on end. Cross 1.5 degrees and you are in strong territory. Push past 2 degrees and you reach the rare top tier where the true heavyweight events live. Forecasters now give this one real odds of climbing into that category. But here is the part that actually matters, not the scary map. A shift like this does not carve your weather into stone. It loads the dice. It changes the odds of floods, droughts, and storms for billions of people, quite possibly including you. Start with the threat most people worry about first: hurricanes. That word everyone keeps repeating, super, will not appear on any official chart. It is a media label, not a scientific one. Whether the headline shouts super or not changes nothing about the physics underneath it. In the Atlantic, the basin that threatens the United States and the Caribbean, A strong El Niño usually means good news. Powerful upper-level winds cut across the ocean, shearing the tops off young storms before they can organize into monsters. Fewer hurricanes tend to form in strong El Niño years, and some of the calmest Atlantic seasons on record have landed during them. But there is a catch this time. The Atlantic itself is running unusually warm, and that extra heat is hurricane fuel. It could partly cancel out the calming effect, leaving a season that is harder to predict than usual. Fewer storms, perhaps, yet the ones that do form could be fierce. Cross to the eastern Pacific, near Mexico and out toward Hawaii, and the pattern flips completely. Warmer water and easing winds let storms grow bigger and more frequent there. Therefore, El Niño plays a double game, calming one ocean while charging up the other. And one blunt truth is worth holding on to. Seasonal totals barely matter for any single person. It only takes one hurricane making landfall in the wrong place to turn a quiet year into a catastrophe for the people who live there. The bigger, more personal story for most viewers is the winter itself. This is where El Niño leaves its clearest mark across North America, mainly by bending one river of wind. A high, fast current called the subtropical jet stream sags south and powers up, turning into a conveyor belt for storms aimed straight at the southern United States. For California and the southern tier, that usually means a wetter, stormier season, storm after storm rolling ashore. For a parched Southwest, that can be a lifeline, the kind of winter that refills shrinking reservoirs and packs the mountains with snow. But that same storm track can also mean serious flooding, depending on how fast the rain arrives and how ready the ground is for it. Drift north, though, and the picture flips entirely. Across the northern United States and Canada, the warm phase tends to bring milder, drier winters. The cold air stays bottled up farther north, and the snow that northern cities count on can simply fail to show up. A winter that feels strangely gentle in Minnesota can be the very same event soaking California to the bone. And this reaches far beyond North America. The same shift that drenches California can dry out Australia and Indonesia, flood parts of Peru, and weaken the monsoon that waters hundreds of millions of lives in India. One warm patch of ocean felt on nearly every continent at once. Which brings us to all that noise online and what it tends to get wrong. Let us be clear about the biggest one. This is not the apocalypse. A big El Niño does not end civilization, collapse the food supply, or crack the planet in half, whatever a breathless thumbnail might promise. It is a powerful natural swing in a system that has been swinging for thousands of years, long before anyone filmed it. Honest forecasting rarely looks dramatic. It looks like probabilities, ranges, and careful words like likely and tends to. The tells of a fear-farming video are easy to spot. A melting, cracking planet on the thumbnail. A looming date by which everything supposedly changes. Where El Niño does bite is quieter, and it is your wallet. Drought across parts of Asia and Australia can scorch farmland, and when harvests suffer, the price of coffee, rice, and sugar can drift upward on the far side of the world. The effect is real, but it shows up as a slightly steeper grocery bill, not a disaster film. Closer to where the name was born, the bite is sharper still. Warm water spreading along South America caps off the cold, nutrient-rich upwelling that feeds one of the richest fishing grounds on Earth. And the schools of fish that depend on it can vanish for a season. there is also a genuinely new wrinkle worth taking seriously. Every El Niño in the past played out on a steady stage. This one is dancing on a stage that keeps getting warmer year after year. That background heating pushes each new event into territory no one has measured before, which makes the old historical patterns a rougher guide than they used to be. So strip away the screaming headlines, and what are we actually left with? Not a single monster storm bearing down on the world, but a shift in the planet's pulse, a change in rhythm in the great engine that drives our weather. It is not something to panic over. It is something to respect, and above all, to understand. A few generations ago, an El Niño was recognized only in hindsight, after the floods and failed crops had already come and gone. These days, we catch it in the act, from buoys bobbing in the open Pacific to satellites watching the sea change color from orbit. That early warning is one of the quiet triumphs of modern science, and it is the reason this shift is a challenge to manage, not a catastrophe to survive. El Niño is not a monster hiding in the Pacific. It is the planet's own thermostat, tilting once again. And for the first time in human history, we get to watch it happen instead of surviving it by surprise.